You can't get rid of me just when you think it's not gonna happen.
And you know what? I'm glad that you're here, and I never want to get rid of you.
I'm glad you're here too, and we're glad you're here because, hi, it's Friday. It's time for another Paint and Slay. I am Vee, and above me is Lauren.
Hi.
So yes, we are going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to be painting some mummies, which you can see that lovely little image of a mummy right there, and Lauren's holding them up too. These are the mummies from D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures from WizKids, and they are from the wave 18 or 17, I'm trying to remember, or maybe even later. They're from the later waves, the more recent waves, just FYI. So if you want to check these out, go to your local game store. I'll give you some more information in just a few minutes. But before we get jumping into getting these minis basically done as a speed paint, because you know, mummies, there's some tricks to make this an easy, quick painting session. But before we get into that, Lauren, what do we have going on in the game this week?
The fastest of mummies. Okay, so for the thing that just got announced yesterday is an exciting new champion coming to the game. Yay! Next week, Certainty Drawn, played by the amazing Jasmine Bular, who you might know from all the different Acquisitions Incorporated streams and live games and just the empire that is Acquisitions Incorporated. Certainty is coming to the game next week during High Harvest Tide. And yeah, we're super excited about that. The blog and the overview video are up now. So if you go check those out, you can learn all about what Certainty will bring to your game for certain. I know, I just like saying it. I know.
It's hard not to. You kind of have to do that. And then along with Certainty, we also have... Ta-da!
The best name for a weekend buff ever. Questionable Allies. Like, I don't know if that was on purpose, if someone came up with the name first and then they put the group together, or if they put the group together and went, oh, I know what this is. But yeah, Questionable Allies weekend, I believe it's live like now. And if you are signed up for our newsletter, you will, in the next couple of hours, be getting a chest that contains, or a code for a chest for a free questionable chest. Now, you're going to get this chest for certain, but it won't include certain.
It's going to happen again.
So there you
go. I have a neighbor. Right? He got a new motorcycle.
No,
I think is it getting gated because I'm hearing like from.
I mean, it's getting gated.
Rough Riders. I think Rough Riders getting it.
Yeah. It might have come through the chat, but it didn't come through me. But hey, you know, that is just the fun of live streaming. He's doing
his, like, you know, drag racing thing outside because it's, you know, a dead end street. So he's just. If you see me jumping every so often, that's what it is, folks.
And if you see the cats jumping into her arms, that's also what it is. So. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway, yes, Questionable Allies weekend. You know who's a questionable ally? Your neighbor with
my neighbor.
Very loud. They were just helping us promote the free questionable gold chest that you'll be getting. If you haven't signed up for a newsletter, absolutely sign up so that you get yourself a free chest. You'll also unlock Hitch, and every once in a blue moon, you may get one other email about really awesome things.
Yeah.
Also,
one more thing.
Hey, so The stream to end MS is happening this weekend. It starts tonight at 4 p.m. Pacific. Yes, with a bunch of different games that are going on, several D&D games, but some other absolutely excellent games. In fact, I thought I saw the amazing Cypher
in there.
Chat.
So I know Cypher's doing Dragon Age.
Yep, Cypher's doing a Dragon Age game on Saturday. B-Dave is doing a D&D game tonight.
Yep, tonight.
And tomorrow, both Vee and I have... Yeah, we have D&D games. Mine is bright and early, 9 a.m. Pacific. That one is, I have the information here. I'm like, I need to remember the information.
I have most of it memorized at this point.
Yeah. So my game is 9 o'clock. It's a 2-hour game. You'll have a chance to, for donations, you can make some bizarre random magic happen, because I have this amazing 100 a table of 100 things on it for bizarre random magic things. And my players are the amazing Captain Robert, Critical Bard, Dungeon Papa, Nerd Immersion. So there you go. Come on by. And I know Garwar has their show at the same time. So for those of you who are listening, we're like, but Garwar, hey, jump on over for like 2 minutes, donate so that some bizarre random magic happens, and then go back to Garwar. I will not be offended, and you can watch the show later.
So they can ding dong ditch your stream, basically. Like, here, have some fun. Here's some wildness, and bye.
Listen, if you donate to this amazing cause, that's the most important thing. Yeah. And I totally understand. But you know who has a stream of D&D that is not at the same time as a Codename Entertainment stream is this lovely person to talk about your game.
So yeah, my game is going to be a lot of fun. I do have some donation incentives as well. I'm still waiting to get the all clear on them though, but hopefully they take, because they're going to be a lot of fun. But I have a fantastic group of players. I'm taking them into the Margrave Forest, which, if any of you are familiar, I used to DM for Cobalt Press and run the Margrave Forest campaign that I created for them. And so we're going to jump back in there, and I'm pulling back out Mama Rihanna, just as fun. She's the one where we did the Gilded Gals. If you've watched the Gilded Gals too, which is another charity thing we did, she's going to be making an appearance. And then I have the fantastic players, Eris Savad, Goblin Katie, Eugenio Vargas, DM Jazzy Hands, Sam Ellis, and Dan Dillon are going to be my players. And they all told me what their PCs are going to be, and I started cracking up hardcore last night when I realized what they all were playing, because it's going to be amazing. It's going to be wonderful, and I cannot wait. Awesome. And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Okay,
yep,
sir.
Vee and I are bookending the stream tomorrow, because I'm first, she's at the end of the day, and then in the middle is Cypher of Tears' amazing Dragon Age game, and Goblin Katie is running their own D&D game. So the whole day is filled with awesome one-shots. And then on Sunday, the person who basically kind of helped put this all together for the streams, who we all know has been working tirelessly to raise money for this amazing cause, Kelly the Opera Geek, who you will all know from Scotty, from Familiar Quest. They're running their game. I believe it's also D&D. They're running at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And then there's Casters and Cantrips right after that. So there is plenty of awesomeness going on for the Stream to End MS. Come by. If you can come by and cheer, great. If you can donate, absolutely amazing. If you can't do either of those things, we understand. See if maybe you could just tell your friends, help promote it, because there are a lot of times where a lot of us don't have the money or the time. But if you've got a couple of seconds and a Twitch or a Twitter account, and you want to do some retweeting and promoting, then that is awesome, and we love you.
Fantastico. Okay, so with that all being said, let's jump into some creepiness. What happened?
I just remembered, thanks to Cypher of Tear, who is in chat, who said Kelly is running my Goose Adventure on Sunday, which is amazing.
That's fantastic. Okay. Basically, just have fun hanging out with us this weekend on that channel. Just do it. So again, these are the minis from, I don't play with my minis at all. So these are the minis from D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures. They are the mummies, and you can see we have an ibis and a crocodile head to these mummies. So it's not like your classic mummies with like the human head to them, which I kind of like, because it's just a different spin on things. So if you have a mummy mini, if you have a mummy mini, it's gonna get clipped, isn't it?
That was amazing. How many more times are we gonna have to say the mummy mini?
Exactly.
Do.
So if you have standard mummy minis, you'll still be able to paint along with us. Just you'll skip the steps where we make this more specialized towards the individual creature heads, is really what it boils down to. To get started. Yeah.
Before we get started, I'm going to say two quick things. One that I forgot to say, and one that just came up in chat. Thank you for Gabe for being our amazing moderator for today. If you do have any questions for us about Idle Champions, about the Stream to End MS, if you've got questions about mini painting, it's a free time gate weekend. And if you would like to poll the chat and us about who you would like to get gear for which champion, go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters so that Gabe can grab it, so that when we're working on tiny little eyes, I don't miss it. Also, Bayushi Akira wins by saying, "No, V, I didn't see you playing with your minis again." I thank you for the Spaceballs reference.
Videos. Okay. Amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using the D&D Prismatic Paint sets, both beginner and intermediate. I'm pulling from both of those sets, but I will be giving you the paint names as we go through. So we're going to start with leather brown, which is basically your classic tan color. And we're going to put this color on the mummies themselves, but leave the base alone. So basically paint the mummies, don't paint the base.
All right.
Hemingway, no. Stop it. Oh my God. Sir.
The cats are extra clingy today.
They are. I think it's the roofing. I really do. I'm going to thin this out too, yeah.
I mean, my leather brown is already kind of thin, but I think you could probably use a bit more, so it can't hurt.
And yes, Bellsman, we're not about the base today. At least not yet.
Not yet.
You know we're not about a base. Not a base. Just mummies.
I was doing more driving this week than I have in an incredibly long time because I had a gig with the opera company. I was doing Carmen, and so I had rehearsal on Sunday, concert on Monday, concert on Wednesday. It's a very quick drive for me. It's like a 20-minute drive, which is good because I don't do a lot of driving anymore. But so I would just put on a playlist that I usually have saved on YouTube of music, and I have the I've just lost the name of the group. Oof. It's a cover of All About That Bass, except it's
they do like the cool like swing jazzy type of stuff.
Yes, I'm glad that you read my mind and knew exactly who I was talking about.
I don't know their name. I don't recall their name at all, but I do know exactly who you're talking about.
Someone in chat is going to help me. I swear. Someone in chat is going to read my mind. Postmodern Jukebox. Thank you, Robin.
There we are.
Robin, you get 1 XP.
VIP.
Thank you. Yes, 100%. Yes. So I have the Postmodern Jukebox version of that song, and every single time it came on, it was fun to sing along to in the car and just sing badly loudly because I didn't need my voice to play the oboe, so why not?
I mean, if you can't sing and have fun, why not? This is true. Time to do it.
Well, yes, and especially in the car by myself where I'm not self-conscious about how I sound. And I don't care if people look over from a neighboring car and see me singing. Like, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I'm all for it. If you're enjoying it, who cares? Who bears witness to it? Because all they're going to be seeing is joy.
Yeah. And they can't hear me, and that's the thing I get self-conscious about.
There you go. Yeah, last night was September 21st. So I pulled out my Earth, Wind, Fire, and I played September. And I danced around and sang with the boys, and we had fun. Aww. But I gotta say, the best part was listening to my little one humming the song while playing video games afterwards. I was like, yep, see, this is why it's always good to be a little slightly goofy and silly every so often.
Yeah. Speaking of goofy and silly, let's grab questions. Geronithus wants to know, they've got a time gate choice for us.
Ooh, nice.
This is a hard one. Xander or Esmeralda? Oh, I'm going to say Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Not a champion I use a lot, but in very specific circumstances, she is incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
She also, not only is it specific circumstances, but she's also one of those champions that, just because of her stats, is eligible for some of the more difficult things that a lot of other champions are not. She's just one of those champions that seems to be eligible for things. I don't remember specifically what it is, but like she's eligible for all the stuff that usually it's like, I don't know who's going to be eligible for this challenge, for this variant, for this thing. So I'd say go for Esmeralda.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got Bird Boy done.
Yes.
I'll come back to it. I'm sure that after it dries a little bit, I'll find all the spots that I missed, because that's the way it works. All right, come here, Crocky. Let's get you painted up. I'm impressed by the detail of all of the
choppers,
teeth.
right?
Yeah.
So I was just noticing too. I'm like, you got the dental details.
Yeah, tiny, tiny little teeth. Make sure I do not lay that on too thick.
I got this guy
for a little while, Mother, but then.
Yeah, but look at him. He's just chilling.
Hi, cutie.
As long as he
I'm sure
behaves.
that'll last for a little while.
I hope so.
I didn't do too much on the teeth, right? Okay. I watered this down, but I always want to be a little cautious when it comes to the spots like that that have so much detail.
That's definitely a wise approach, yeah.
So small. So tiny. Ooh. A painting question from the 22 Dragons. New player here. Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Also a longtime mini painter. Sweet. Well, then perfect. We align with all of your interests. Right? Thank you for coming. Okay, I don't know what this is because I'm the new person here, but we'll see. What is the correlation between ICOFR and minis? Just the fact that D&D uses them, or there are specific games or miniatures lines tied to the PC game? ICOFR.
I'm going to say the 22 Dragons, I need you to spell out what ICOFR is, because literally my job right now is alphabet soup. I am not kidding.
No, she's not. Oh, jeez.
My brain just went like, not another one. Nope. It just went, oh, what's the connection of thing? Literally the game, see?
Forgotten Realms.
See, this is how bad it is. Oh my God. See you, folks.
Mentioned that it's
bye.
Wow.
I was thinking like, so I was thinking of a mini term. I was thinking, what mini term is this? Oh, please don't clip that, y'all.
Or clip it. You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. I own up to my moments of blue screen brain. That's fine. Anyway, what is the correlation? I mean, I'll give the overview now that I know.
Yeah.
It's mostly just, hey, we are a D&D game. And so we like being able to paint the D&D minis that are the monsters that you have to fight. Because we like to have streams that have a variety of content, and not every stream can have the game running in the background. So this is just another way that we can talk about Idle Champions and have some fun, and to have it be a different kind of show. I don't know. As far as like a specific miniature line, we just like using the Wiz Kids because they have the officially licensed minis, and yeah, they are,
I mean,
popular enough that you can find them most places.
Yep.
They're more widespread.
Priced. Yeah, they're budget friendly, they're widespread. Gaming stores carry them. You can find them online at a bunch of different places, quite frankly. Yeah, I do have minis from other variety of companies that I love and paint, my spare time type of thing. But because it's officially licensed D&D, it also means like we can have things in our game, and chances are WizKids will have those creatures as miniatures already.
Yeah.
which definitely helps when we're trying to plot and plan. So yeah, that's why WizKids minis.
And this is the perfect time to remind our audience that WizKids have been
Yes.
very nice, and they've given us a code so that if you want to order minis off of dndmini.com, you can use the code SLAY and save SEP.
SEP. That's all you get.
SEP, S-E-P. And that gets you 10% off your entire order at dndmini.com. That code is good until the end of this month. So you still have a little bit of time if you're looking to pick up a couple of minis and you've gone, we like to suggest going to your friendly local game store first, but most friendly local game stores can only carry a selection, and dndmini.com will probably have the one you're looking for. So yes, thank you for thank you for joining us. Thank you for indulging us as we both went, I don't know what that means.
See, because I default to IC for the game, because it's always Idle Champion, so I always abbreviate it in my own notes as IC. I think that's why my brain's like, I don't know what that long one is.
I usually go Idle Champs, but I have seen Idle Champion ICOFR before, so I should have known better, but that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. How are you?
I seriously wish I could show off what my to-do list was today, because literally every single line was a letter combination.
Yeah, we can't go into details for a variety of reasons, but trust me, it's a lot of alphabet soup. It's a lot of what at the beginning of the day, Vee will rattle off what she did yesterday and what she's doing today, and it's basically just acronyms.
It is.
What did she do? Acronyms.
Acronym.
Yeah. Need Price for Two wants to know, are the paints water-based?
They are acrylic paints, so yes, you can thin them out with water. And there are other paint thinners you can buy, but it does not react negative. It's not like you're taking an oil-based paint and putting water in there, which, so yeah.
And that is an excellent question.
Yeah.
If you are ever curious about the stuff that we use, we've got a channel in the Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, that we have pinned in there the basics for the stuff that we use. And we try to keep everything as budget conscious as possible. And the good thing about, at least the thing that's usually the quote unquote most expensive things on the list, are the paints and the brushes. And I'm still using the same paints and brushes that we bought 85 episodes ago. So
I literally just threw away one of my white bottles of Leho paint, one of the larger ones, one that's like twice this size, that I have had for over 6 years now. I finally threw that one away because it was truly like bone dry empty. So these paints will last you. And that's one of the more popular colors to use. So there you go. Now we're going to move on to dark flesh tone. We're going to put that on the base. We are all about the base now.
Also, I love that we're putting something called dark flesh tone on the base.
I know, right? On the ground.
It's going to be the creepiest base.
Creepy.
Yes, agreed. Robin 1XP Vallejo paint sets are some serious bang for your buck. Yeah. We started with using one of the other sets, and I still have all those paints, and they're still great. And then the prismatic paint line that we're using now, as you can see, they look like tiny little bottles, but there's so much, and so little goes a long way. So
yeah,
I tell people it's like tea. It's like, you look at loose leaf tea, and it can seem expensive at first. It can seem like it's a ton of money because most places you order tea by the ounce, and a lot of places will post like the price by the pound, and it'll look like, oh my God, you're going to spend 50, 60, 70 bucks on tea. No, you're going to spend like $3 because it's going to get you probably several ounces of tea. And those several ounces will last for a very long time. The problem comes when you then order 5 or 6 different teas.
That's why I was a good individual when I went shopping at Friday's Tea Shop when I was last out in Seattle, and only got my favoriteest blend.
Yeah.
But you better believe I stocked up on that sucker.
See, I'm the opposite. And every time I am lucky enough to get across the water and go to the the storefront, I end up buying a lot.
I mean, I also had limited suitcase space, but it's just one of those things where if the Captain's Blend from Friday's afternoon tea is fantastic.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I will have that tea. It's like my Saturday and Sunday morning or throughout the day type of treat tea. And because you
Yeah.
can get multiple brews out of the tea leaves, like quite frankly, the bag that I got, it was 8 ounces worth of loose leaf tea. That's gonna last me a year, if not longer.
Oh yeah.
Um, so it definitely is. You get a lot of use out of it, and it's a lot of flavor. And Friday's just absolutely wonderful. And plus, it's like supporting a cool local shop.
Yes,
So
we
I'm
are
all
not
for it.
sponsored by them. We just love them.
No.
I love
But they're
between.
very tabletop and, video
Oh
game
yeah.
friendly type of shop. If you haven't checked them out, they are online and really cool things if you're looking for fun gift ideas that are tabletop or video game adjacent. I will say that.
Yes, absolutely. And chances are there is a tea that if you've got a friend, you're like, I don't even know if they like tea. They don't really talk about tea. There's
Hmm.
probably a tea there, a flavor there that they'll like. I
Yeah.
mean, and there's recommendations and there's all sorts of stuff. It's funny between the streams on this channel that I do and my podcast, I end up seeing that line about Friday afternoon tea quite a bit, and I don't mind the
Hmm.
whole, we love Friday afternoon, not sponsored by them. We just love them.
Yeah.
Friday afternoon comes up quite a bit.
I mean, it's good
I might have
stuff.
accidentally painted the toes there.
Yeah, it's okay. You can always go back over in a little bit.
Yeah, I think I got a toe or two, but the rest of it
Well,
looks okay.
there you go. Um, I'm thinking. Okay, so then we're gonna move
Ooh,
over. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Flamebeard, thank you for making me aware of Postmodern Jukebox.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for chat for helping us remember what we were talking
Exactly,
about.
right?
Uh,
Group effort,
yes,
yay!
please go enjoy Postmodern Jukebox. They're amazing.
It's good stuff.
Elfic Flush.
It really is good stuff. Elfic Flush is next, which is basically just a darker ivory tone. For those of you using more generic colors at home, which is totally cool. We're going to dry brush with this, so we don't need to thin it out, but you will need a flat brush for dry brushing. And we're going to we are going to go in and dry brush the mummies. All of the mummies.
All of them.
All the mummies.
So everywhere we just painted brown, essentially.
Everywhere we painted leather brown gets the dry brush treatment. Yeah.
Excellent.
Very, very much so. Okay.
Oh, nice sale knit. If you don't mind saying, what did you order? Because they said they just got a Friday afternoon tea shipment for fall. Excellent.
Ooh. Very cool.
Friday did just start to turn over her stock. I'm excited to find out, because I have a tea at Friday afternoon tea, but it hasn't been in stock yet because of for reasons. And so I'm excited to see, because it might come into stock in the fall, and I'm excited to find out, because I also need more of my own tea, because it's a blackberry tea and I am very much out of my blackberry tea. Oh, it's so good. And I'm not just saying that because it's a tea that I helped make it. I mean, it's Friday. They make awesome stuff.
Yeah. So basically what this is doing is it's going to give us the mummy looking aged band-aids. No. Bandages.
The wraps.
The wraps. My brain just took 2 leaps ahead before I was able to finish speaking.
It happens.
I'm going to say wraps, which are like bandages. Hey, band-aids.
I mean, you're not terribly far off.
I
so,
know.
It still works. It's
literally what my brain just did to me, though.
Yeah. It's Friday. It happens. Niprice asks, have you been in Istanbul, Turkey, and seen one of the tea shops where you can buy at a kilogram, and the seller tells you what it's good for, gives you a cup of tea to try, and you can buy either powdered tea or bio. It's awesome. That, like,
I've not heard of this
bucket
before.
list, right? Is being able to go just travel anywhere. But yeah, I have heard some amazing stuff about both tea in the Middle East in general, and then also being able to go to Just being able to go all
Japan.
over.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely Japan. Yeah. Oof. It would be
Japan,
lovely.
Singapore.
And a couple
Heard of
places
Turkey.
in South
Bangladesh.
America.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, there's some very cool places that I've been seeing tea coming from there, and so
Oh.
I'd love to go ahead and try. Uh,
Trying to be careful around the feet because my base is still slightly down.
yeah, I just hit the hours because I just hit a spot of the brown that was just still
Shoot.
slightly wet.
Ever so slightly wet.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Oh no, what did I do now, Seeker? Was it the band-aids wraps thing?
I think they're just having fun with you. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. You're fine. Everyone's fine. I'm fine. How are you?
Cussy.
Okay. Are you dry enough? Yeah. You're dry enough.
But yeah, basically, if you have standard minis, this is really all you have to do. Standard mummy minis. This is really all you have to do for your mummy minis. If you're just doing the standard wraps, you base in leather brown and then you dry brush in elf flesh, or you base in a tan and you dry brush in an ivory tone. And that gives you your mummy details. And then I'll tell you when we jump back into, like, if you're back at a standard, what else you can do for these. But yeah, mummies are great for speed painting because of this.
Mummies, skeletons, zombies. Yeah, a lot of the undead. A lot of the undead are just great for. I'm going to make 5 of these, and it makes sense because those are also monsters in D&D. If you're going to plunk them down on a, yeah. I mean, how often do you really see a zombie? If you get the really high level mummies, you can see a mummy.
Do liches count?
I mean, they're undead. Absolutely. Right. I'd say they count.
I'm being more of a brat. Like, is a lich a zombie? Because then I've seen a solitary zombie.
That's like asking, is a hot dog a sandwich? It's one of those, like...
Well, it could be.
Technically, yes.
I was not expecting this. Oh my god.
See, now I was also gonna say you can count a lich as multiple as having like a whole host because of the fact that they've got the phylacteries. So you're essentially you're facing the same creature several times in a row, but it is,
yeah,
there are multiples. I'm going to paint all these teeth. All the teeth.
All the teeth he has, all the teeth he has. Running through his head, running through his head, running through his head. Hee.
I just like, after we did the base coat in the brown, now just going through and getting all the teeth, not stark white, but like...
Oh yeah, popping them back out.
Dry brushed into the white. It now looks super cool. How did I miss that arm?
I don't know. There's definitely some angles happening with this one, I've noticed. Because of the stance. Not a complaint, it's just make sure you're rotating this mini around a lot as you're doing this.
Yeah.
To catch spots.
The arm that I missed was on the crocodile, the one that's upright, and I missed the whole crook.
Yep.
Seeker 30K wants to know, what are your favorite undead monsters? That's an excellent question. I don't have one that jumps to mind immediately, although I am a fan, as a frequent cleric player, I am a fan of the low-level horde, because that moment as a cleric, especially as a cleric that focuses on healing and support, and so you're not necessarily doing damage, that beautiful moment of like, here's an entire horde of zombies that are super low level, and I'm gonna use my channel divinity and destroy undead, and 20 of them are going to turn to dust. It's just... That's
sweet.
It's a fun moment. I've personally had that moment. My cleric player in my in my podcast, I made sure that they had that moment. As soon as they leveled up to the point where turn undead became destroy undead,
Mm-hmm.
very quickly I came up with an excuse to throw a horde of zombies. Because I'm like, oh yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Like my cleric in Tomb of Annihilation. Oh, that was a beautiful thing to have handy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tomb of Annihilation. That's an adventure you go into. It's like, all right, we're gonna bring 3 clerics, 2 paladins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna have 3 billion diamonds. We're just gonna be prepared.
Oh, we have the death curse going on, so you did.
Well, I think you could still revivify, if I remember correctly. I'd reserve the right to be wrong, but I think with the death curse, revivify was still an option, but everything beyond that was nope.
Okay, so you can see now this is getting a really cool look to the mummies. Look at that.
God, and this is kind of fun because it's almost like it's a very heavy dry brushing words.
Yeah. It definitely pops out more because essentially this is sort of a quick and easy way to do the look of the wraps. For speed paint purposes.
Back and making sure I got all the spots. Oh, Jake Hands? Yes, today is Mummy Day. We are It's technically not October, but you know what?
We're getting there.
It's close enough to spooky season to start doing some spooky stuff. Yeah. So
and then we're going to take if you still have some elfic flesh left.
Tiny bit.
And some of the take some of that and add it to what you have left, if you have anything left of the dark flesh tone, just to create a lighter tone.
Okay.
And we'll use that to dry brush the base.
The economy of paint.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And this is just going to amp up the details just a little bit more.
Oh, excellent. Neprice2 asks, could you explain the dry brushing white gray over the brown? What the basically I think what they're asking is what's the process there? Like, why do it this way instead of a different way? Ow, how to get paint there? Sorry, distracted.
The whole reason for doing the off-white over the tan is because if you looked at aged bandages, as white linens age, they take on these undertones of browns and yellows. So what I did is sort of deconstruct how this aging looks in the long run. So I started with that darker tan of yellows and browns using the leather brown as our base color, and then going back over with the off-white will play into the areas that still haven't quite fully aged and discolored yet. So that's really what the whole purpose was of doing the tan and then the lighter color on top.
And I need to add a little bit more.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, and if you have any other questions about dry brushing or about these techniques, definitely stick them in chat. We're always happy to answer what we can. This is a learning experience for all of us.
Yeah.
Thanks to Vee being here.
So that is the bases done for now. So keep that in mind. If you're sticking with just the paint, you stop here with your bases.
I'm catching up on the base. I had to lighten up my
totally okay
base dry brush a little bit more than I had. So I'll be done in just a second.
I will say I already put Halloween decorations and stuff outside on my front porch. My roofer cracked me up. He rang the doorbell and I opened it up and he went, "Trick or treat." I'm like, I like you for a reason.
I think I've talked about this before, but in the before times, I used to be that person who would get very upset if holiday decorations in general will put up very early, specifically like Christmas decorations. Like it was just kind of always oh, really already. And now I am of the opinion I've changed my tune. If it's gonna make you happy, if it's gonna bring you joy, and it's your house or your apartment, do what you want. You know,
Mm-hmm.
keep the Christmas tree up year round. Is it gonna make you happy? Do it.
I mean, life is short. Play hard.
Life is short. Uh keep the Halloween going all year round.
I mean, hi at me. Ta-da! Have you seen my bookshelves? Uh, I felt so called out when someone says skulls are basically part of your base core motif. I'm like, yes, yes, they are.
I mean, we've got that short out there of you just look, I've got a
Look, I
dragon
have a
skull
skull.
to show off. Because you know,
I forgot we had that.
mm-hmm.
We're gonna jump over to black pudding, which is a black that falls under a more blue tinged black, a very cool black. I don't mean like cool as in looks cool, cool as in the tone is cool. So we're gonna put this black pudding on the ibis head, basically going from the tip of the bandage wrap here and going up and around the head and down the beak. So the whole thing is getting black, and then we'll also put it on the hands and on the feet. I think this one is just the tips of the toes.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, it's the tips of the toes, the hands, and the head.
I love this color. I love
Black pudding
anytime
is
we get to
awesome.
use black pudding, I am super happy.
Yeah, it might need to be thinned out a little bit depending on how it came out of the bottle for you. Mine's
Yeah,
kind
definitely.
of, I'm going to test run it.
Yeah,
Sometimes
mine
it is,
definitely
sometimes
needed
it
a
isn't.
little bit of thinning. Tiny bit of thinning.
Yeah, it's a little thick. That is a little thick.
I might have left mine alone if this was a bigger mini, but with this being so
Itty
tiny,
bitty. Yeah.
I feel like a little bit of extra caution is a good idea.
Agreed.
All right, so the neck, the head, the beak, the eyes, everything up there.
Yep, and then take it to the tips of the toes and the hands.
Okay.
Rough Rider is asking, will I be joining you for this? There's a Seattle Witch Festival.
Oh, so the amazing Holly Conrad was on Sketching Hour this week, and they were talking about the they were talking about a bunch of these smaller events, and it's not conventions, like fairs and festivals that they've been going to sell their crafts and their stuff. And they mentioned the Seattle Witch Festival. And I'm like, this is a thing. And so unfortunately, I will not be able to go this year. But yeah, in 2024, I'm gonna try to go, because I didn't find out about the festival until it was a little too late, because like, hey, I've got a charity game this weekend and stuff.
What's this weekend? Got it.
Yes, it is. I think it's this weekend. If it's not this weekend, it's next weekend. And next weekend I have Big Bad Con. So it was one of those, and we're like, oh drat, too late for this year. But it just sounded like super fun.
I'll go.
I know. I wanted to go so bad.
Okay, so that takes care of the head. Now, right now it's not showing up. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see how, because we did that dry brushing with the Elfic Flush over this, as it dries, the details are still popping out with that differentiation between the darker brown tones and the lighter tones. There we go. That's what I wanted to catch. It shows up more as it starts to dry, because the thing with black and being wet, it is so reflective, it throws everything back at you on the camera.
Yeah, the hardest part about any of the blacks, the black pudding, the black, the whatever, is that it constantly is a fight to see, wait, did I miss a spot, or is it just shiny?
Exactly.
Ooh, is that hand just...
My hand's a little mushed up on one of them.
So mine is, so the one that's empty is definitely a little mushed up, but it's, it's a mummy. The other one, it almost looks like the wraps go all the way across the hand. Can't quite...
Is that part of the hilt of the weapon? I'm wondering.
Maybe.
I'm just going to use my best estimate of where the black needs to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do just a little bit on the end here.
And then the little tippity toes that are right here. A mini, mini. A mini, mini, mini.
Okay, tiny toes. Here we go.
Okay. Talk about this little piggy went to market. Good grief.
We talk about eyes so much, but here we are.
The toes.
Tiny toes. Tiniest of toes.
Do, do, do. Okay, so we want the ibis to dry a little bit.
Also, thank you for remembering that it's called an ibis. I don't know why I couldn't remember that name.
I was
just said
so
mummy.
so fascinated and obsessed with ancient Egyptian culture. Something's still stuck in my head. So I'm like, that's an ibis, yay.
Yeah.
And then once you're done with that, we're going to flip over to scarlet red. Keeping a detail brush going. We're actually going to do the inside mouth of the crocodile.
Scarlet red.
And again, thin it out a little bit because we're going to let those differences in color work for us between the ivory and tan. And don't worry if you've got none of those teeth that just brought out, because we'll do the teeth again, but with an off-white later on down the road.
Awesome.
Gosh, look at that maw.
It is the very definition
maw
of a toothy maw.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just putting on the bottom or also on the top?
Both.
Okay. I've actually watered this down too much.
Well, see, the nice thing is that if you get it to the right consistency, it translates as almost a pink. So it's like all the work is done for you. Just like that.
My accident was totally on purpose.
He's so clever. So clever.
Come here.
And there are these little stretchy bits on the side. There we go.
Didn't think I'd be a crocodile dentist today, but here we are.
Yep. Are you in denial?
You were waiting to tell that joke.
No, actually, I wasn't. It just worked out. Oh, God. I blame Dexter.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't worry if you hiccup a little bit over the jaw where the teeth are, because we're going to go back over in green. That's why we're doing the inside of the mouth first. So I know that's going to get covered up in just a second.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Again, I try and plot how we approach colors in areas where I know, well, this is going to get covered up by that. So don't worry too much if that bleeds over that for now.
Which is definitely helpful.
Yeah. So once you do that, we'll jump over to sick green, yo. Oh, and scarlet red is basically a cherry red. For those of you using different paints.
Yeah.
And sick green. Yeah, I know sick green looks like it's a fun evergreen paint on the outside, or a Kelly green. It not once you spray the thing out. It actually is more of a pea green.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I am wearing a very nice green. This is way more of that pea green. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pea green color. So I'm gonna go in with my detail brush.
Real quick, Svaduna, welcome. Glad that you're able to join us. Yeah, I mean, we are in the middle of the day on a Friday, so we totally understand when people can't join us live, but glad to see you. And then we're doing the rest of the crocodile head, it looks like, in the green.
And before I thin it out, I'm actually playing trace around the mouth. Because when the paint's thicker, you have a little bit more control over it. So I'm going to put a thin coat around the edges of the mouth. like that. And then I'll go back in and probably water this down a little bit to get the broader scope of things.
Okay.
Oh, this arm's kind of in the way. Sir,
The
you not raise
challenge
your
is
hand.
also going to be finding the spot where the head ends and the bandages begin. I think it's there.
Oh, I can trace that if that helps.
That would, because I think
Okay.
I found it, but can't hurt to have confirmation.
It's basically right up here.
Yeah. I got that.
You got
Cool.
it? Awesome.
I was basically looking for the eye, and then I'm like, okay, what makes sense?
Yep.
Beyond the eye. That makes the most sense.
Yep. You got it. You got it.
This is also going to be one of those episodes in where, because everything is small,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to remember to look up at the screen every now and then to grab questions. So, chat, bear with me if it takes an extra moment or two to get to your question. But everything is tiny.
We're not ignoring you. We're paying attention to details.
It's so small. I'm going to boop the snoot.
Snoodle boop.
Yeah.
Not you. I was like, me?
Mother, please. Boop, boop my snoot, too.
I like snoodle boops. I too am a fan of the snoot boops.
Oh, his jaw is a little tough to get
Tricky.
around, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think my hair just got
Okay.
all over the microphone.
It was a slight tap, nothing more.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I am getting a haircut today, and I am excited.
Ooh.
Unreasonably excited about something so simple as a haircut, because my hair fuzzy. Next time I'm on camera, hopefully my fuzzy hair won't be doing the ASMR thing. Caliph Marin, I love the stuff as a kid. I blame watching The Mummy too many times.
I mean, why do you think I used the mummy as a GIF when I did the morning social post today?
Yeah,
I'm like, we're
absolutely.
doing mummies. I have to do a mummy GIF.
Yeah.
Plus, these were not photographing well because, like, it was almost too sunny today this morning with natural light, so it just kept flaring out on me. I'm like, I don't feel like playing with the editing buttons and have this look super weird. So these are the kind of minis sometimes it's just better to share them when they're completed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Dang.
Cool. We're gonna let that head dry. And then we're also going to get, I believe, the hands and the feet on this one with green.
Okay. Yeah, because these actually had full feet and not just toes,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, there's still some wrap down the center, but it's a little bit more of the feet than just the tippity toes.
Yeah.
There we go.
And the hands are definitely a little more defined.
Yeah.
Maybe the Ibis mummy just, has had a hard undeath. Things haven't gone well. Things haven't been preserved quite as well. And,
that can definitely
they're
happen.
dealing with what they got in the best way possible. And that's just what you got to do in your unlife. Oh. Let's see if I can get this hand without getting the entire arm. Challenge accepted.
If you insist.
I do.
Cool.
I got these tiny little brushes for a reason. Okay, that's a hand. Caliph Marin says, "Why does it look like the mummy is standing on a slice of brain?" I mean, it did kind of end up a little bit brain colored.
Yeah, but there's also gonna be a wash that's gonna go on top of it.
Ah.
which will deepen the tone. That's the other thing to keep in mind is when you go and do colors and you know you're going to be doing a wash at the end, keep that in mind, because while this green is looking bright now, not right now, bright now, I know the umber wash that's going to go on top of this is going to drop it down in its intensity, probably about 3 or 4 tones with greens. So it's going to darken up is basically what I'm saying. It's not going to be such a cartoon green color. But it's important to keep that factor in mind, because if I went in and I painted this the exact green I want to end up with now and then go and do a wash, that green's going to become dark and muted and muddy as a result. So you do need to be aware of how washes can interact with your paints ahead of time, which for me has come with practice and painting and doing this for so many years. But if you're ever unsure with a new paint color, I always recommend, especially if like minis that have broken or minis you just know you're not going to paint, save those minis so you can do swatch tests on them and just literally put a little bit of color of that you want to use on a mini and then use the wash you're thinking of, and you can see how those two will interact with each other on a mini itself.
Does it ever happen that you use a wash and it actually brightens things?
Cassandora Yellow from Citadel.
I like how you had a specific, like this one. Yes, absolutely.
It's truly, that one has, that's why I like to use it for fire effects. It brings a luminescence almost to anything you put it on, because it's this vibrant orangey yellow wash.
But otherwise, most of the time
to
washes.
Drop the tone, yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can fix the foot that I got the floor on. This foot will no longer have pieces of brain matter on it. It will now be green.
Oh, the things you never think you're going to say until you're painting minis or playing D&D or both.
Or both. Yep, absolutely.
Love it. Okay, so we're going to let the crocodile dry for now.
Yep, I'm on the last foot.
Awesome. As opposed to the last leg.
Mm-hmm.
But next we're going to jump over to hammered copper, which is a metallic that is basically a coppery tone metal. Metallic, I should say. And we're going to be painting the weapon that the Ibis version is holding. And normally with metals, you don't really need to thin these out because they tend to be of a thin consistency on their own. Yeah, this one's like almost watery.
Yeah, the copper and the gold do tend to be, and the silver actually, all three of them.
Yeah, most of the metallics tend to be thinner. So I'm just going to paint the whole weapon. I'm honestly not sure what this weapon is. Chat, what is? What name? What do?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to imagine that it is. There's so much drawn from historical stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could just be
a fantasy creation.
Yeah, weird fun magic thing. Not glorious gold. You said hammered copper. I said glorious gold. It's a Kopesh.
We will use, it's a Kopesh. Ooh, simple. The Kopesh.
Very cool.
See, chat. You are far better than Google.
This is yeah. I don't remember what I was listening to yesterday. I think it was it wasn't a podcast. It might have been like a TikTok or something that came up, and where someone of our generation was trying to explain to someone who was younger than them what you would do before you had the internet on your phone and you wanted to know the answer to something, and how, yeah, if you just were, if you were out at a restaurant with friends having a discussion about something and no one could think of the answer to a thing, you just never
moved on.
You just moved on, and maybe you remembered later and looked it up in your encyclopedia. But I feel like we are lucky where we not only have access to Google, we have access to chat, which is better than Google.
I swear to God. Once that weapon is painted, we're gonna move over to. I kept calling these kind of like daggers, but is this a something as well, chat? What's
That
this
might
one
be
called
because
then?
those
What
are
is that?
much bigger than a dagger.
What
So
this? What this?
help us, chat. You're our only hope.
What's this? What's this? Da,
You
da,
really
da,
are,
da, da,
because I'm not going to
da.
Google in the middle of painting minis.
Yeah. But we're gonna put gunmetal, which is a very dark silver, onto these particular pieces.
I think I got you all. Okay, cool. Yeah, they might just be short swords. I see Lightning Hawk and 22 Dragons just saying they might be a type of Egyptian short sword.
Okay.
They're definitely too long to be daggers, and in
That's why
my
I was like, I'm not sure what
unexpert
these are.
opinion. Gunmetal. And gunmetal is definitely one of those that I
I
don't
mean,
have to wear.
regardless, they're a cool looking weapon.
And it's very possible that these are, like I said, they're just cool fantasy looking weapons.
I mean,
Ain't
you don't want
nothing
to be
wrong.
on the business end of these, that's for sure.
Nope.
That or watch it be like an ironic tongue in cheek of mummification tool of some sort.
Psychosis 28. If you have every champ, do you not get a free time gate? You should still get free time gates. It'll still offer you 3 champs. It's just now, instead of, because if you're missing any champs, at least one of the time gates will be a champion that you don't currently have. But when you have them all, then it just finds you 3 random champions and lets you pick between the 3. So you should still get free time gates, so that you can gear up your champions. And if you have not, that is definitely something to put a ticket in for, because you should. Although I would suggest, before you put in the ticket, if you haven't yet, try turning your game off and turning it back on again.
Jiggle a switch.
Every
Yep.
once in a while, especially when the noon rollover happens, it can help to get the updates and everything. So give that a try. If that doesn't work, absolutely put in a ticket, because everyone should have access to a free time gate this weekend, whether you have all the champions or not.
Aha. Okay. So that takes care of those. And then we'll go to the off-white and lightly brush those teeth.
You might be a mummy, but you deserve to have good hygiene teeth. Freshly brushed teeth.
Dee. Uh-oh. Apparently my off-white. No, my off-white had a plug around the top. I just gotta take it off carefully.
Yeah.
Before I like spray paint everywhere I don't want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hemi. I'm actually going to use the tip of my detail brush to get these teeth.
They're so tiny.
That's just it. Open your mouth and say, ah!
And say, rawr.
Arg.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking that.
I mean, come on, we grew up with that practically.
Yeah. That is one of those weird cultural touchstones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I got all of that. Okay. And you said off-white for the toothies.
Yes, for the twofers.
Imaginal Disc says, I suppose painting a mummy with real mummy brown would be too weird.
Oh.
I mean, you can. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm kind of impressed that there is. What the heck is going on with my off-white? Ew.
Did the cap get stuck?
No, it just. I think maybe when I was pulling it off, it's just a. Huh.
Hello, sir.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. I'm gonna clean off the
Mm-hmm.
cap just in case. Just in case. There we go. Last thing I need is for this thing to be plugged.
Right? Yeah, that's just, yeah, thank you, Imaginal Disc. I was like, I don't know. I didn't want to say it out loud because that could be a trigger warning for lots of people.
That's true. I had no idea. So
it's a thing.
TLDR.
Yep. No, it's fine, Imaginal Disc. I mean, you're in the chat, so that's something we can remove. If I say it out loud, it's there.
Yeah. So for those of you listening to the home game, if you feel like doing a Google search, just be aware that you're talking about real mummies, and there might be some real, harder content,
squidgy things related to that particular color.
Exactly.
Speaking of colors, we're going to go into black, and we're going to dot the eyes on the ibis black, which are right there.
I've still got one side of toothies to take care of, but I'm almost there. Whoops. Nope, that's a jaw. I don't want to paint the jaw.
Da-da. Try to find a good angle here. There we go. Dot the eye.
Caliph Marin, fascinating, but also gross.
Also gross,
I think that's a very accurate description.
A Floridian painting a crocodile. This is from Imaginal Disc. A Floridian painting a crocodile mummy and an ibis mummy is just perpetuating college sports team rivalries. Fun.
I love it. Oh my god.
Amazing. Okay. Again.
Got you and there we go. Okay.
Ooh. Okay. And the other eye. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
so
in
we
a
have
weird
those
way,
two
because
eyes.
we're putting black on an already not completely black, but on something that is a very close color, I'm actually less worried about this eye than I normally am.
Oh, well, there you go.
I feel like I have a little more wiggle room.
So I am debating, because quite frankly, this black pudding dried nicely, so you still see the details of the beak and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to dry brush over this and really drastically change the color of the beak.
What were you thinking about?
Mixing a little Stonewall gray with black. And then just dry brushing the edge of the beak a little bit. Just to kind of give you some difference between the skull and the beak itself. But I'm kind of liking how this looks.
I'm kind of looking at mine as well.
I think I'm going to leave it.
I think I'm going to join you just because I had that moment of it's a really cool sleek black, and
That's just it. That's what I'm afraid. Like if we do more, it's going to lose that look, and I don't want to because I'm enjoying the look of it now.
And once again, that black pudding is such a cool color.
Such a great color, and I don't want to lose that blue tone. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, boo, boo.
Okay.
So from there, did you get the eyes?
I finished the eyes.
Whee! Okay, so we're gonna go back with I don't want to know. That's you've heard.
Imaginal Disc. Do you know the ibis mummy carries an Egyptian sword around? They have anxiety, and it's a Kopesh mechanism.
No.
Mm-hmm. No. I saw it, and so now you have to see it too.
Okay, so we're gonna shift over to Glorious Gold, which is your typical like 24 karat gold tone. Classic yellow gold. And then dry brush that onto the kopish. Speaking of a kopish.
Ah.
Just lightly dry brush that up.
Oh, and it looks like there might be a little bit of a bug going on with the game right now that is causing that issue with what was it? Excuse me as I chance to find the most
Bruno Mars.
Okay, so it does sound like something's going on with the time gates. So if you're having a problem, hang tight.
There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry.
Okay, thank you. I thank you for picking up. I'm like, I forgot what I was about to dry brush, but you picked up the ibis, and so now I know it's a dry brush.
Yep. Dry brush the ibis kopish. The ibis kopish. Ibish. Oh, sorry.
Mummy.
I was like, why are you going at me? It was a little bit too close. Hey, Bubba. He has slowly but surely, chat. Remember where he was last time? He got closer. He's creeped. Oh, God.
I mean, all those videos out there about, you look away and you look back at the cat, and the cat's just a little closer. You look away and the cat's just a little closer.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to take that glorious gold and dot the eyes of the crocodile.
Excellent.
Yeah. Which
all right, this. Here we go. I can do this. Okay.
There we go. Because these are so small, the gold actually catches the light of it, so it pops out more.
All right. I think I'm happy with that.
Cool. Happiness is dotting your eyes.
Yeah. Once again, really happy with one side, slightly less happy with the other. I can never quite get both of them, but I'm pretty darn happy with both in general.
There we go. 1 and 2.
Rarg.
Rar.
Rah. Rah.
Golden eye. I see that. Dilettante vitamin. Okay, so keeping up with that gold, if you still have some.
Oh, yeah.
Oops. We're going to go through and you'll see there's like these bands happening here at the edge and up atop here of the waist of the crocodile.
Yeah.
And then there's also this one that sort of runs around through here. So we can paint those gold.
Ah, okay.
Just for a fun pop of color.
Yeah, since this one seems to be wearing fancier robes.
Yeah.
And wrappings. Well, that explains why we haven't had as many people asking about help with their free time gates, because
there's something happening.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I'm sure the team is hard at work on fixing that, because everybody is all excited about time gates. Always. It is always worth it to open up a time gate and get some more gear for champs.
And there is a little band that happens in the back. I don't know if you see that.
Yeah, like
it moves up this wrap. Don't forget that one.
I got that one. I'm trying to decide how much.
What are you doing? Hi.
I mean, I'm technically looking up a crocodilian mummy's skirt, but hey, it's just for the painting.
No, Hemi's like, he's pulling his getting closer and closer game. Don't sneeze on me. He's doing his little sniffly thing he does right before a sneeze.
Aww.
Okay, so that gives you an idea of what the looks like with that. Oh, geez.
Stan Mechanic says, my free time gave me Jaheira. It's a sign we need a Baldur's Gate 3 Jaheira skin. Man, I totally forgot Jaheira was in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. Yep, there was a post floating around about her the other day.
Oh, Del Shift B. I have a choice between Deacon, Human, and Nova. That is you've pulled a trifecta of awesome, my friend.
Catch them all.
Yeah, I feel like for that one, it's going to depend on what kind of champion you're looking for.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And or who is in a seat that you need more champions in. And that can probably help you because yeah, all three of those are real good. I see a lot of people in chat saying Human. I think Human is probably a good place to start simply because of speed. So Human can help you go fast to get more stuff to get to another time gate champion. But yeah, that's so good. That's almost a painfully good draw on your free time gate. All right,
I'm gonna put one. I'm gonna put one right around the. Do I want to? Meh. Probably not with the eyes being painted gold. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I gotta do the one around the neck and then I'll be done. Just finished the skirt.
Okay.
Which I'm sure has a better name than skirt.
Cute. Cute. And then I'm gonna go to hammered copper again and take that to the ibis and paint around those bands. Because those are really just around the upper portion here. There's a band that's sort of a collar band, and then you have a necklace band.
Sorry, there was a two dogs being very loud and upset outside, and so I muted myself, and I've been waiting for them to finish whatever they were doing, and it was getting
finish their conversation.
It was getting heated. There was yipping involved. Yeah. So I don't know how much of that came through.
Yeah, I just heard
on the chat before, but yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you said hammered copper on the ibis on which spot?
There's a collar band, and there's also one around the neck.
Okay.
Which I'm about to get the neck one as well.
So yes, sorry everybody if I was just kind of standing still for a moment. I was just...
Hey, I mean, I had the motocicletta at my house, and you had the barking dogs. So...
Yeah.
Barking dogs.
Yes, since everyone's talking about time gates, and McTribble brings up a very good point. Chat is always very helpful, both here and in our Discord. So if you are ever interested in getting advice on something that you're doing in the game, feel free to go ahead and put in the chat. And the nice thing about time gates, and I've said this before, there's no wrong answer. The eventual goal is to get all of the champions. So while you may pick a champion in your free time gate that someone else would have been like, it's not the one that I would go for, eventually you're going to get them all. So there are no wrong answers, just kind of preferences and timing decisions, basically.
Yeah.
And while I might offer a suggestion, you might like the reasoning behind someone else's suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely no uh there's I am not the end all and be all of suggestions for free time gates.
Okay.
And I'm okay, where's this banner on the bottom? I got the collar.
See, there's the collar and then there's one up around the neck.
Oh, okay. I went looking
Yeah.
down. That's my bad.
No. It's like there's like a choker and then there's a collar. And I'm gonna go for the silver, straight up silver, which is classic metallic silver, and just catch the edges of these particular weapons in the crocodile's hands.
All right. Imaginal Disc is just very punny today.
I'm not mad at that. You know?
The difference between the choker and the collar is neck and neck. I mean, they're good. They're good. I'm not necessarily a pun person, but they've been good. And fast, which is also I'm impressed.
There you go.
Okay, so this was, you said, on
just
the
silver.
crocodile, the silver, just kind of
draw it across start at the edge and pull, and just let the brush kind of have fun with it. And it'll give you like this battered up silver look.
Oh, that way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So start at the edge and pull. And that takes care of that. I want to give that a second to dry because, believe it or not, we're at wash time.
Wash time. I mean, it makes sense. We're at 121. This is
perfect.
This is a good pace we've been going at.
Yeah. I also like minis like this because you get 2 minis done in like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you feel so accomplished.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
Yeah, the speed painting is fun, and definitely with minis like this that are small, having a couple of them to work on so that there's time for the other one to dry, because that's it sucks when you gotta just sit here literally waiting for paint to dry in order to continue.
Yep, pretty much. So I'm gonna go in for the umber wash, and then we'll start. Give it like another little quick minute. We'll start washing these guys. And I always go for like a larger round brush to do my washes, just because it helps the paint kind of pool over it more universally.
Yeah.
As opposed to a beauty brush.
Yeah. Magical Disc had a question about washes. I've been painting for years and I never know when to use a wash. Is it generally best at the end and maybe a touch-up where needed? I like this face. I like this maybe face.
You can use the wash whenever the heck you want to. You can start with a wash. The starting with a wash will help you pop out the details sooner so you can see what you're painting. In fact, I recommend for beginner painters to start with a wash, whether it is a black wash, Nuln Oil, or an Agrax Earthshade Umber wash. It's a great way so you can see everything that's going on with the mini, so that when you look at them, you're like, oh, so I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, and it sort of turns the mini into a paint by numbers-esque type of approach. You can also use a wash midway in between. You can use it to deepen the colors and then go back in and highlight and then do a wash at the very end. There are schools of thought as to when a wash is when you should use it. I don't attend those schools.
Vee made her own school. The school of paint and slay. So, are we washing everything in umber wash or just doing like the body?
Except for the bases, the bodies of both of these minis. We're not doing the bases because we're going to have some fun with the bases in just a second.
Okay. Wash ahoy.
Not to be confused with chips.
And as I've said before, this is always my favorite part.
And the cool thing is this is going to really get those bandages looking nice and gnarly. For aged bandages. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty, I tell you what.
Yeah, and it's just always fun when the wash catches some of those little tiny details that is like, okay, I tried my best, but this just ended up not showing as much, and then the wash goes over and you're like, oh,
there it is.
Hey.
Now the name of the game with the many layers of bandages going on here is to just keep going back, even though you've already covered it, just to catch any pulling that might be happening that's a bit overdone.
So I've been holding it upside down just so I had an easier shot at getting to everything, and I realized, oh, it's all pooling at the bottom of the skirt.
Yeah, if you ever get too much wash, it's just take your brush, blot it quickly on a paper towel, go back to where you need to pull up a puddle of wash, and use the tip of your brush and wick away with the brush. But you can see, this is what the ibis looks like with the wash on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. Today is just whack my microphone day.
Whack a mic. Instead of whack-a-mole, you're whacking a mic.
Yeah.
And then we're going to move on to the crocodile. And I can show you what I mean about how that color becomes more muted as a result.
Speaking of washes, the 22 Dragons wants to know, did you try Citadel's contrast paints?
No, I have not. I have many friends who have used them and actually speak highly of them. Why have I not tried them? Because quite frankly, I have such a volume of paints at my own home. I can't justify purchasing these paints when I don't have a pure need for them or have been asked to review them. So I haven't tried them out, but I have paid attention to friends of mine who are mini painters and use them and enjoy them. So it's a brand I feel safe in saying, like, yeah, give them a try. A lot of people really like them, especially for speed paint, bulk paint type of miniature lines. So if you're doing like a horde of skeletons or the like, or, an army of something or other, they're really great for that. But I do like Citadel's shade washes, so.
I don't know why, but this is pooling a lot more on the crocodile than it was on the ibis.
I think because there's a couple extra textures going on here.
Maybe. Also, and I'm noticing this just now, that both arms are crooked. Or not crooked. Both arms are
crooked.
Bent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those elbows and those armpits. Everybody just wants to pool in the elbows and the armpits.
It is a thing.
Oh yeah, and I'm much happier with this toothy maw now that the wash is going on.
Yeah.
Ooh. See. All right. Hey, listen, everybody. I appreciate all the puns.
Okay, someone get Dexter in the chat.
I can't keep up. Every time I look up, I'm like, oh, it's been, a moment or two. I should look up at the chat and see if there's any new questions. No, it's just a list of puns. It's just people being punny. And so I'm not reading them all off, not because you aren't being awesome, but because there's just so many.
They're being punctual. Oh, that was amazing.
Well, fine.
I totally will enable the chat. I keep going. No, Rory, get your little tush down.
Ooh.
You're lucky I'm live streaming right now, little girl. Get down. Hold on, she's trying to eat my pothos.
No. Okay. See, chat, here's the thing. It's not that I don't like puns. It's I feel about puns the same way a lot of people feel about incredibly sweet candies, that they're best in small amounts.
Yes. Totally
My
fair.
tolerance is higher than most people for puns, but it's still not super high. But you're fine. I'm also impressed. Like, anyone who can do any kind of joke that fast, pun or not, is real good. Also, rawr.
Grr, arg. We're back to that.
We're back to that.
Okay, so we're gonna let these guys dry. I was gonna say grow for a little. I'm like, if they start growing, I'm leaving. I'm gonna let these dry for a little bit. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna have some fun with the bases.
Yeah, let me grab it.
Because oftentimes when you have minis that are a little bit more simple in presentation, you can have a lot of fun with the bases by doing something cool to them. So the whole reason for getting the bases basically painted was because I wanted to make sure there was something happening underneath in case part of the base peeks out. Because what we're going to use is this really cool stuff from Army Painter. And I have a different setup than what Lauren has. I have the brown battleground, which is very fine and grainy. You can see that Lauren, wow, your camera is really picking that up. Nice. Lauren has the battlefield rocks. Hello, camera. Which is a
you can't grab my minis, but you can grab rocks.
That's what I'm just looking at. I'm like, look at that. It's like, yeah, I'll show all the details. Here you go. Okay. So mine is more like sand-like gravel, whereas Lauren's is more like pebbles, is sort of the best way to explain those. So we're actually going to have fun and put this onto the bases. Now, if you don't have, I just looked at the chat and I shouldn't have.
It's fine. It's fine. Keep going.
If you don't have these types of products, which is totally cool, they aren't necessary. You can also just get generic sand. Okay. So you can go to the craft store and buy like little things of sand. You can, I'd say you can go to a public playground and take some sand, but having seen what's in public playground sand, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Like construction site sand, that type of sand, basically sand will do the same thing that this will essentially. So you're going to want this. And then you're also going to want either Elmer's glue, classic white, or actual Mod Podge. Remember how I keep saying there's classic Mod Podge and then there's ultra Mod Podge? This is why I say there's a difference.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I've got the ultra Mod Podge or I have super glue.
Super glue will probably be your better bet for this.
Okay.
I would use that because the ultra is too thin to really hold on to it. So
I've used this for when I've done the grass because I've got also
so that'll help.
Since my camera seems to really like doing this, so I've also got the
you got the grass. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And the grass is fun, but makes a mess.
So here's why I say Mod Podge traditional is actually quite different. Well, except for when it dries at the top. This is the fun thing about.
Oh, geez.
Back to days of making terrain.
Robin 1XP mentioned something that I know we've got some of. Aquarium stores are awesome for rocks, pebbles, sand,
absolutely.
and all the colors of the rainbow. And you don't have to be wondering about, how clean these are. So perfect.
In fact, I have a whole bunch of videos on my YouTube channel showing you how to use that stuff for terrain purposes.
For terrain purposes.
So when I say traditional Mod Podge, this is what I mean. It is a gluey paste. All right. So it's definitely very different than the Ultra. The Ultra is this thin, almost clear liquid. Mod Podge will dry clear. Don't get me wrong. It'll dry clear. But it is not the same thing. That's why I make a point to be very specific with these. So what we're going to do is it's easier to do these one at a time, Lauren. I'm going to take my Mod Podge. You can take your super glue. And I'm just going to apply it all around the base and be careful around the feet to make sure glue doesn't go there. And you want it to be a respectable layer, at least if you're using the glue option, not the super glue. Super glue, you can get away with a thinner coat.
Yeah, super glue goes a long way for sure.
It really do.
Okay.
Just going to go around and dab it all over. Like so. And then I'm going to remove this from its painting base. And holding this, I'm going to take my lid of the product. Let me see if I can move the camera down a little bit. Yoink. Gonna hold this over the lid of the product and then take a pinch and start sprinkling this onto the base.
Hey. And because my rocks are a bit bigger, it's going to be a little bit of a sprinkle and then readjust. Yeah. But I really do kind of like how the rocks are looking. I might grab the grass and do the other one to show it off, because as much as it can be a bit of a mess, I really love how it eventually looks. Once everything's dry, it is just grass. I mean, sometimes you just got to be excited about grass.
But then you'll have this really cool texture on your miniature base. And as that Mod Podge dries to its clear tone, the paint that you've put in underneath, that will start showing through, which is why you want to make sure you still paint your base ahead of time. So that we're going to let just dry. So I'm going to set that. I'm probably going to set it on my paper plate where it's a little bit more clear. And basically do the same to the crocodile one now.
All right.
This is why we didn't want to wash the base, because all of that moisture would just botch this whole thing up.
That's my rocky terrain. And then...
Oh, that's kind of appropriate. Which one are you going to do the grass terrain on?
I'm going to do on the crocodile.
Perfect.
Which was accidental, but yeah, I think that works. Totally accidental, but I think it works well. So
yeah, because they're usually like in the reedy shores of the Nile.
Yeah.
But you're getting ahead of me, Imaginal Disc. You're getting ahead of me, but yeah. Basically, when this finally dries completely, what you'll do then is go back, and this is where you can use either the Mod Podge Ultra or Mod Podge itself, and seal the upper layer of the texture surface back in to the miniature to give it a little bit more of a solid finish, because some of this could still flake off because it's not as tightly adhered to that layer of Mod Podge. So you can go back over and do another coat, but you're going to want to wait 24 hours before you do that, because you want to make sure the first layer has cured.
Okay.
And you can do the same thing with Elmer's clear glue, because that is another similar, it goes white to clear type of situation. And I can see the chat's talking about different versions in different countries. So basically find something that dries clear ultimately is what you want. There's also tacky glue, which is, it's called tacky glue. It's a brown bottle with white lettering, and it has a piped nozzle. That's another good one you can use. You can find that at craft stores. So it tends to be a little bit more pricey.
All right, so also, as a heads up, what I've learned while using the grass, once again, is super, super cool, but it is a little bit of a mess when you first open it up or have had it sitting around for a while. It is going to feel like one big, large lump of grass.
Clump together?
Oh, yeah, because it's been a hot minute. So you just take a second and you just have to work it out, just because the last thing you want is a clump of grass.
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe you do want a clump of grass, but in this case, a sprinkling will do.
Little dab will do you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then tapping, and then
a
fair bit of tapping.
All right. So that is, and actually, let me grab, I have some other ones that I can show off while Lauren is working on the grass version.
I've almost got it in a spot where I can show it off. And then, this is also the kind of thing where you want to let it sit and totally dry for 24 hours, or else you end up with grass everywhere.
Yes.
I have learned both from Vee and the hard way.
Okay, so let me share some other options with you. Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, so this is, I think this is what Lauren has. So I can show off these textures.
That's exactly what I got.
Perfect. Okay, so. And you can see, I'll put these side by side so you can see the difference in texture. There you are. And you can even do a combination of these, put this on first and go back in and individually glue bits of this if you want to kind of do piles of rocks around their feet. That's a really fun way to handle it.
That's kind of the way that I ended up with the ibis, because they're significantly bigger, but it also, the color is a little bit closer to what the color that we painted the base on. So it's even nicer that I just basically did artistic rocks.
Nice.
Did the artistic rocks. Whereas my crocodile friend, I just tried to put grass everywhere because grass.
All right, and so it's the grass is this one.
And I'll just show, this is what I'm talking about, where it can come out like as a clump. And you just gotta kind of give it one of those. Which
is why these are very handy to have when you work with grass.
Yeah, I should pick one of those up, considering this is...
Angled tweezers are great for working with this stuff, but it does come out almost like mossy-like. So you can always go in with your tweezers and then just sort of agitate it in the container. And then pick it up. And it'll do its thing. But this stuff is also really cool texture-wise. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm constantly impressed by how well the grass looks. How natural it looks, because... So I've also got grass on we did the outhouse mimic. I put grass on there, and I have grass on one of the skeletons of the skeleton speed paint that we did. And it just, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to work with, just because, like I said, it does kind of get everywhere if you're not careful.
Because like this stuff, the reason why I use tweezers for this stuff is because this has this static electricity to it. So when it gets on your skin, it's sort of like the sister to glitter. It sticks on you like glitter will. So I do recommend even just like traditional tweezers would work, but tweezers that are angled like this, slanted tweezers, are great for working with the grass.
But once it dries and it's done, it's
very cool looking.
Surprisingly realistic. It is so cool.
Yeah, it looks really good. So those are the fun things in terms of like terrain details you can add to the base. And then you can get grass tufts and add those too, but you can't add them right now while that gravel is drying, because you might actually smush the gravel out of the space that you want it to be in, and it can get messy. So that's where, if you're doing base painting, or base enhancement, that's the word I want. I'm like, what's the word I'm looking for? So if you're doing base enhancement, that takes some patience, because you'll find there are times you need to pause and let things dry before moving on and doing the next step. Because it could be a lot of fun with a smaller, grainier kind to go in and do a couple tufts of grass, like here and there. Definitely, but I don't want to do it quite yet, because that's still kind of wet.
I also still have some of the grass
exactly.
Since my camera seems to like army painter.
Look at that. It's like army painter, yeah.
Who knew? My face cam was just like faces and army painter stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, they come on this little thing, and you just peel one of them off, and they come in a bunch of different sizes, and those are also a good thing to have a tweezer for, especially the little ones, so that you're not accidentally like, hey, I'm gonna put this here, and then you pick it up and it's still stuck to one of your fingers. You have a little bit of time, though. It's not like glue and where it dries immediately. So you've got some wiggle room, but...
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Yeah.
A little wiggle.
But those are also super cool. And then also, and we haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I also have stashed away, since we brought it up, since someone in chat was just like, aquarium stuff.
Yep, that's the stuff I sent you.
Yeah.
So much of it. I'm like, here, take some.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like here, I have this perfect thing I can show you right now. So I have these cutie pies where I created a custom base for them using moss as well as aquarium plants. So this is all aquarium plants in here.
Yeah.
Which is something fun to do.
Lightning Hawk says, I can see buying the fake grass and maybe small gravel, but why buy sand or dirt? Can't you just go outside and get some from your yard? You can, but like everything out in the wild, you might accidentally pick up something you don't want.
Well, the issue is you can't just take soil from your yard, because the soil from your yard is also, it has moistures, microorganisms, etc., etc. Weird things can happen with those added into your mix. It's better to get treated materials to use on your miniatures as opposed to just, hey, I went outside and I grabbed it. Like, if you use like little pebbly rocks, wash them first. Let them dry thoroughly before putting them into your terrain use. I have used actual rocks in terrain, but I have washed the rocks first to make sure there's no dirt and stuff left on them, because, you know, sometimes it'll affect adhesion. It'll, you know, attract critters, which not fun. Same thing why, yes, you'll see some people like, oh, I use oregano. It's like, okay, oregano's cool and it can look like the grass, but it could potentially attract creatures. Which you need to be careful about. So that's why, you know, the synthetic materials are a little bit of a safer bet, because you're not going to be bringing critters into the equation because they smell things and they want to go after things or try and eat it or burrow into it type of stuff. So just be cognizant of that will be my little bit of advice.
I don't remember how much this was, but I don't remember.
I sent that to you. I sent that.
Oh, did you? That's why
I can't remember
how much it was.
So I don't remember off the top of my head how much they normally MSRP for.
But I mean, look how much you get, and like the paint, this is going to be for the rest of my life. I have grass.
You'll get a good amount of time out of those.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind with what materials you use.
And this is kind of the perfect place for us to stop. Awesome. We finished these and they got to dry, and we're almost out of time. And we've got right after us, we've got Formation Save with Sean, who is back, who was very kind and did all of community Q&A by himself. So he's powered through that, and he's going to be back for 2 hours. And then if you're hanging out in the Formation Save chat, they're going to raid into the stream to end MS. There will also be an in-game alert for the one for B-Dave. So if you've got to run and you want to come back, or if you're not in the game, or if you're not in our chat for the raid, go to twitch.tv/MSSociety. And yeah, the first game starts at 4 p.m. with B-Dave. I don't remember offhand who his players are, but I'm sure it's fantastic.
I know. Let's try this. It's Alicia, Johnny, Gina. Oh,
and I know they were for his game, they were raffling off.
There was one chair open.
Yeah.
Who else was on there? I'm blanking on the other names, but I remember seeing those 3 names. Yes, exactly. So that's going on. And then don't forget, tune in tomorrow, because Lauren is going to kick us off with the 9 a.m., 12 p.m. I'm going Pacific Eastern time here. Game that's going to start everyone off. And then we'll have Goblin Katie also DMing. They start up at the 11 o'clock, 12 noon, is it? Because she's 2 o'clock. She's 2 o'clock Eastern, which is then 11.
It's 11. Okay, yeah.
And then Cypher is jumping in with the Dragon Age game at 5 p.m. Eastern, so 2 p.m. Pacific. And then I'm jumping in at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific with a D&D game. That should be a lot of fun. And then on Sunday, you have Kelly Butler, a.k.a. the Opera Geek, our Scotchy the Rescue Pup creator. She's going to be running a game at, again, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And then there are a couple other people joining in later on with a few more streams after that on Sunday, too. So it's definitely... Do you remember?
I think it's one more stream.
One more?
There's 2 streams on Sunday. There's Kelly's, and then there's one more. Which the only reason I know off the top of my head is because then D4 happens Sunday evening, and I don't have to feel bad about streaming opposite a charity game. So hey, very cool. If you're looking for something to just have on and enjoy during your weekend while you're taking care of weekend chores, put on the twitch.tv/MSSociety, and then on Sundays switch on over to Elder Eye Entertainment and watch some more Kira.
Ta-da.
So help people in need, and then help me not die to an elder evil.
There you go. And then on Wednesday, don't forget, log in to get Certainty Drawn added to your formation just in time for our fantastic Acquisitions Incorporated Season 5 that we have going on. So she'll be at 12 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday, and there's other fun things that we'll share with you next week too that you'll get to see. And then don't forget, it's the weekend, which means it's the Questionable Allies weekend. And if you signed up for the newsletter, Lauren, if you've
You'll
signed
get
up for the newsletter,
chest.
you get a free chest, and it's questionable this week.
This is one of the few times where I wish we could go back and reuse chests for the weekend, because we do a new chest every single weekend. This is one of those where it's so fun to say you get a questionable chest that I want to be able to do it again.
Right? Well, hopefully you have something that is definitely not a questionable weekend.
Have a very safe and happy weekend.
Yes, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, Gabe, for helping us with the chat and sending questions our way. Very much appreciated. We won't see you next week, but I will be in the chat with you next week, because next week is going to be rebroadcast. We're going to do another speed paint. I'm going to rebroadcast the speed skelly paint that we did last year or the year before. It was a little while back. But it's keeping up with the creepy season like you've asked. So you got mummies this week. You're getting skellies next week. And after that, we're doing tomb tappers.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a whole bunch of creepy stuff.
You wanted creepy, you're getting creepy. That being said, we'll see you later and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye. Bye.